Hello, and welcome back to Weekend Cartoon Reviews. This time, we're reviewing Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 is the newest Pixar release, which is honestly a sequel I've been anticipating since I watched the first Inside Out in theaters, when I was only 12 years old. Come now, and I'm 21, and I still think the original is one of Pixar's biggest achievements ever. See, the first movie came out during an era in which Pixar was considered to be not at their best, and that's putting it mildly. But they put this movie out, and audiences around the world loved it, me included. I got really excited when Inside Out 2 got announced, and it became one of my most anticipated movies for 2024. You can do so much with an Inside Out sequel. I was very interested in the production of the movie and behind the scenes, because when I heard they got actual teenagers to come to the Pixar studio and analyze the emotions, you know for sure I was even more confident Pixar was just gonna kill it here. You know, Pixar hasn't had the best reputation amongst this decade, with a bunch of flops and straight-to-Disney Plus releases. Let me actually talk about that for a bit, since I did start reviewing things in 2020. Onward came out at the tail end of before lockdown happened. The last movie I saw in theaters was actually Onward before they closed down, and I thought it was a really good movie. Come on now, why did it have to flop? Anyway, Soul, Luca, and Turning Red all hit Disney Plus one after the other, and I loved both Soul and Turning Red. Luca, on the other hand, was good, but not as good as those two. Then we went back to theaters with Lightyear, and I thought it was decent, and Elemental was better than expected. Pretty good movie. That brings us now with Inside Out 2. Pixar sequels don't usually have the best reputation either, with the exception of Toy Story 2 and 3. The others are a mixed bag. Yeah, we're getting very much sidetracked, so before we get started with what I thought of Inside Out 2, let's look back at the first one. The first one was about Riley, and though she isn't the main character, it's the emotions that inhabit her and control her life. She has 5: joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. Anger being my personal favorite of all of them. Anyways, Riley has to cope with the fact she's moving to a new city, and the stress really gets to the other emotions, especially sadness. The movie followed Joy's character arc in wanting to always make Riley happy and be in control of everything, and basically sweep her other emotions aside. However, when she tries stopping a core memory from forming because of how stressed sadness is by everything, the two of them learn to appreciate each other more on a journey back to headquarters when they are out of Riley's mind. We also see the other 3 emotions struggle with keeping Riley who she actually is, and at the end of the film, Joy learns that all the emotions are just as important as she is. I still think this movie is extremely well made and really good. A sequel has a lot of potential and has a lot to live up to, so I had high expectations for this one. The trailers assured me this would be a worthwhile movie, so now, let's talk about it. Did the film reach my expectations? Nah. They not only reached them, they exceeded them. I don't know how much of a hot take this will be, but Inside Out 2 is better than the first one for me. It's seriously that good. Everything about the original remains intact and is up to fit Riley's teenage years, as well as introducing some new faces to headquarters. So, what's this movie about? As I said, we follow Riley once more in her teenage years as she goes through puberty. We see not a lot has changed since the first movie, and as I said, we also get new emotions such as anxiety, envy, boredom, which I know that's not her name, but I'm just going to call her Boredom because I can't pronounce her actual name, and embarrassment. When these emotions take over, they intend to take over all of Riley and make her a completely new person, as anxiety wants to take complete control of Riley's mind, kind of like Joy from the first movie. But I feel this movie also shows what Joy could have become in the first movie, with anxiety being very overly controlling of every aspect of her life, even throwing away what made Riley Riley in the first place by getting rid of her beliefs. Riley's goal in this movie is to join a hockey team while wanting to fit in with someone she admires. The emotions get kicked out of headquarters and have to take a journey back to HQ once more to stop anxiety from changing Riley completely. For Inside Out, I expected there to be more emotions in a new movie, but didn't know what kind of plot they could do despite also anticipating a sequel. Pixar came up with something spectacular, and every aspect of the first movie that was amazing is done even more here somehow. We explore more parts of the mind, which comes with a lot of comedy thrown in that I laughed really hard at. Did I mention the animation is also one of the best looking movies Pixar has done? Look at the first movie and look at the second movie, and tell me which one looks more visually stunning. I guarantee you'll say the second one. Anyways, let's talk more about the characters. Joy goes through an arc of trying to force herself to be positive all the time, and she uses her journey of making it back to Riley's mind as a way to do this. The other emotions from the previous movie don't really have arcs here, but they still are a ton of fun and make for some great humor, and I'm glad they're along for the ride. Anxiety is the character that a lot of people looked forward to seeing and seeing her as the villain of the movie. I could kinda see people saying both ways of her being a villain and her just being an antagonist. She's without a doubt the antagonist of the movie. I mean, she bottles up the other emotions and forces them to be locked away for a long time because, well, she's anxiety. The movie also teaches the lesson of letting anxiety consume your life so much, which is something that I needed in my life. Not anxiety, but a movie about this. I really related and picked up a lot from this movie. The other emotions are there too, like Envy, who was pretty funny even though her jokes are just, "Ooh, she has this? I want it!" Boredom got a few kicks out of me by using her phone as a way to use the console rather than actually getting up and using it. Embarrassment is the one I least like, because he doesn't do a whole lot aside from making Riley blush. However, I do have one minor nitpick for this movie, and it doesn't even hurt it all that much. Sadness does get a little sidelined here, but the movie makes up for it by making her bits worth watching and trying to sabotage anxiety. I do like how the ending isn't that we need to get rid of anxiety completely, because that's not realistic. I won't spoil too much else about the ending, but you'll see what I mean when watching it. But overall, everything down to Riley's arc of wanting to fit in, the original emotions adventure to get back to the HQ and save Riley, anxiety wanting to take complete control, it was all perfect. There's not much I would change. Overall, Inside Out 2 is a worthwhile sequel and worth all your money. It's emotional, it's funny, and you'll have an awesome time regardless of your age. If you love the first movie, I highly suggest checking out this new one. You'll really love it, I swear. That's all for today's review. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all on the next review. Bye everyone, and have a great day.